Thank you, Michael, and welcome everyone. It's really exciting here to be kicking off the 2011 season. I'd like to first start by just sort of recognizing and thanking our great fan base. You know, we're going on, I was reminded today, this is our 75th straight consecutive sellout. It's really pretty amazing, and when you're averaging over 71,000 season ticket holders, and was told there's probably well over 10,000 people waiting to buy season tickets of those 71,000. So I just want to thank them. Sometimes it goes unsaid, but you know, being here in front of our program, that's really a great and loyal fan base, and we appreciate them and thank them for being here. And I'm just going to encourage them to be loud and continue to try and affect games. We've had a great home record here through the years, and hopefully they'll continue to take part in it as they come and follow us. It's, you know, like everybody, always this first week, you're very excited to get going. We are as well. You know, our guys have really had a lot of, I think, good and solid. I just think our preparation has been very good, very solid throughout. The guys have had a great attitude in the way they've worked. I thought we have managed the heat the entire time really well. And really last week was the worst of it, being that school just started. You're out on the field from 3:30 to 5:45, really the hottest part of the day. And I was glad to be out there in it because we needed it. You know, I wanted our guys to experience it, and we really didn't have any issues. Guys pushed through it, practiced hard, practiced well. And I feel like we're in good shape coming into the year. Really in all parts of the game, everybody will want to ask about their particular positions, but I feel, I guess some things off the top of my head, I feel offensively, I'm excited to see more playmakers throughout the team, meaning, you know, Ryan Broyles deserves all the credit and attention he's got, as Landry Jones does, but I think there's going to be more explosive players around them this year that are ready to make a stronger impact. Guys like a James Hanna, senior year, is really an excellent tight end. DeJuan Miller's had a great camp. Some other receivers have really done well, you know, in the last couple of weeks, whether it's Trey Franks, Jazz Reynolds, you know, Kenny Stills. Those guys are all continuing to make a lot of progress and gain maturity. I'm probably missing someone there. Camille Jackson, a young freshman, has really come on and has shown a lot of promise. So I just really feel we're going to have more weapons to spread the ball out to and more consistency in all those positions. Running back's been talked about a lot. We'll use multiple, but that's okay. They all have excellent hands. They're all really good, strong workers. They're all capable of making big plays. So, you know, obviously I think the biggest thing we've got to do is when a guy gets hot and is really has something going, that we work him and keep him in there and give him his opportunities until he needs a break. The quarterback competition has been excellent between Drew Allen and Blake Bell. Those guys have made significant progress, which you would expect over a year's period of time. Again, really great workers, talented guys. Drew has a slight edge, as I said, over Blake right now. But we're going to continue to work Blake in and continue to get him, you know, some reps with the twos and continue to bring him along. He starts a year behind, but has really made significant improvement and has really closed the gap. And so we feel, you know, in a way that, as I said yesterday, in some ways we feel like we have two number twos that are going to continue to compete through the year. Offensive line-wise, I feel we'll be stronger and better overall with more maturity up there and experience. And I really believe our run game will, you know, be stronger than it was a year ago. Defensively, I think some parts. Losing Travis and Austin both inside is a significant blow. You have that much experience and maturity and leadership, in the middle of your defense. It's hard to ignore. I'm not going to act like that doesn't matter. It does, but we have to have guys step up, and we have some guys that I think that are capable of it. Tom Wart is a totally different guy than he was a year ago. Just a year ago, he was, in our eyes, a true freshman. Hadn't practiced, hadn't played. It was his first time on the field because of the knee injury. Now he's a year more removed from the knee injury. He's a year more experienced in understanding our system. The most complicated position outside of quarterback, I believe, to play is the middle linebacker. And he's just really feels at home now, and it's showing on the field. Other guys in there, Corey Nelson has really done a good job, and a very talented guy that everyone knows, and hopefully he'll continue to mature and grow in that position. I believe our guys up front, have a chance to maybe be better than people have billed them. They've had a good camp, and I like the way they're playing. In the secondary, with all the corners and the emergence of Gabe Lynn, Tony Jefferson, Joseph Ibaloya, all those guys in there, and then you have, Aaron Colvin, Javon Harris. I feel good. We're not real deep in the secondary, but the guys that are there are really have a chance to be really good players. Kicking game-wise, we have our, Ryan Broyles with punt returns, and Roy Finch has been doing some of that and really looks good at it. Kickoff returns, there'll be multiple guys back there, Trey Franks, Dominic Whaley, Roy Finch, Brandon Williams, Jonathan Miller, all our fast guys that can run. I prefer not to use many receivers in that position. Those guys aren't as used to as maybe the backs are of handling those returns. I guess I get spooked, I think, all the way back to Manny Johnson when he got taken out against Tech. Those receivers sometimes aren't quite as thick as those backs are in handling those. Let's see, field goal-wise, Jimmy Stevens and Michael Honeycutt have been much improved from a year ago. Patrick O'Hara will still handle the real long ones. The kicking off will be Patrick O'Hara. Michael Honeycutt, I plan to also look at as a guy that's really come on kicking the ball off. And Tress Way has really been excellent through camp. Truly is virtually every day he's punted has been over 50. Hopefully that'll continue when we get to the games, but he's been really solid and strong in the way he's hitting the ball. He's really improved his technique and been more consistent with it. So from there, Tulsa, as everyone knows, coming off of another 10-win season a year ago, 3 of the last 4, averaging over 500 yards a game in offense, 40-some points a game offensively. Really an excellent football team. Again, beating Notre Dame at Notre Dame a year ago shows and speaks to what they've been able to do in the last several years and in the way they're playing. I've always been a huge fan of Bill Blankenship. I think he and his staff will do a great job there. I know, several of the guys that are on the staff that I've got great respect for and how they coach. And the guys that they are, and again, I believe Bill, just with his background there in that whole area and at the school, and more than that, his experience as a coach will be a great fit for them, and so we recognize it as a big game. There's no doubt about it. We know that, and so we're anxious to play come Saturday.
Do you expect to hear anything from now to setting out on Ronnell?
I hope to.
Do you have to hear something before he can play?
Yes, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. That covered it all, didn't it?
You didn't mention his defensive line when you talked.
Yeah, I did. I said the guys up front I expect will be better than what they've been billed.
Anybody individual has played well?
Jamarcus McFarland inside, Stacy McGee, David King. David King has really been, we look at as a starter. He, Frank Alexander, and Ronnell. To us, you're splitting hairs between them. To us, we'll play them all equally. So all those guys are playing well.
Getting a pass rush, you feel confident you'll be good at that this year, or be better than that this year?
Well, I don't. I thought we were pretty decent at it a year ago as well. So. The end, I expect us to be better than we were overall than a year ago.
Bob, on Ronnell, he has posted to his Facebook page and stuff like that. All the people are saying, "Come on, kid, get your grades up and you'll be fine." And he's dealing with it, I guess, the best he can. But his replies are stuff like, "You people don't know anything about my grades. Just leave me alone. If you don't know the truth." Well, that's what I'm getting at is, if he's having to defend himself like that, would it be easier for him to just kind of shed some light on his situation?
No,
Because why?
I'm not going to go into it. When I
private,
know
it's his
something
situation.
definitive, I'll say something about it. I'm not going to debate it here and broadcast his situation until we know what it is. It's just not fair to him. He deserves some privacy, doesn't he? Okay, so you're asking me to talk about grades, this, that, and the other. He's a college student. If he was in the NFL, I'd talk about whatever it is. He's not. He's a student on top of being a player. So he deserves to have that. So as many times as you ask, that'll be the answer.
Defensively, is leadership at all an issue with Travis Lewis? You know, not on the. I guess leadership on the field an issue. Who needs to? Who?
Sure, Travis has done a great job of being around, being vocal, doing what he's able to do, because to be honest with you, it is not easy to lead when you're not playing. But he is doing it and doing it well. But it'll be a challenge in the huddle. But I believe other guys will step up and in the huddle, and when something has to be said out on the field, I think other guys will chime up.
Who's some of the candidates for that?
Yeah.
I think some guys like like Frank Alexander, like a Tom Wart, like a Jamel Fleming, DeMontre Hurst. There'll be guys step up and have something to say. Corey Nelson can be that way.
Bob, when do you have to know as a head coach when you can have a player available? When does it matter to you? Does it matter to you? At what point in the week?
It matters, but at the end, there's nothing to debate. I don't have a choice in it, so you work
Not
other guys.
necessarily specific to
I don't have an answer to that. I'd like to know the day before we play. But, if you know 2 weeks ahead, that's better. But if you don't, you don't. You just work the other guys along with them, and you do the best you can.
Bob, is it realistic to hope Travis Lewis is back by the time he's talking about, I guess, on social media, and that's Florida State?
I don't know what his social media says. I haven't read it, so I'm
Well,
not.
he's hopeful and thinking that he might be able to.
I can't answer that. The doctors can't. So that'll be something that I'm sure that's whatever he's saying now is totally hopeful because they haven't evaluated him. So since they put him in a boot, so at the end, or not a boot, but a cast to let it heal. So there'll be different stages of evaluation that, that might shed some light on that. But anything right now is way too early.
Is he still in the cast right now?
Yes.